CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Welcome back to Miami on this first day of the season in December, and it has just begun to rain. It was in the forecast, and hey, for a change, those forecasters are right.
And when you say just begun, you're not kidding. We're talking within the last 30 seconds, this shower. Welcome to South Florida.
The Patriots do very well, thank you, against their opponents in the AFC East.
But if there is a fly in the ointment, there it is. It's the Miami Dolphins.
New England won the toss and have deferred, so the Dolphins will get their hands on the football first, and that is Marcus Thigpen, one of the very best return men in all of football. He's returned a kickoff for a touchdown, 96 yards at Buffalo, a punt, 72 yards at Houston, and he will get a chance to do things first as we get set to play. Thigpen from a yard deep in the end zone. Breaks the tackle and out across the 15 to about the 16-yard line. Ryan Tannehill has set a Dolphins rookie record with 2,373 passing yards, but interceptions have been the problem. He has thrown 12 of them against only 7 touchdowns, but Dan, he is the future here in Miami.
He's very popular with the coaching staff, and I think a lot of it stems from the fact they just see what a large upside he has because he's got all the intangibles you're looking for.
He will start out of the shotgun, Reggie Bush alongside him. And he'll throw. And that is off the hands of Devon Best, incomplete. Lots of high draft choices on that Miami offensive line, including rookie Jonathan Martin, the second-round pick from Stanford. And the Dolphins could use a superlative ground game out of Reggie Bush today. 660-plus rushing yards and 5 touchdowns.
Well, when you're playing the king of the division, though, you hate to start the game with a dropped pass in the first play.
Bush looking for running room, squeezes out across the 20 to about the 22-yard line where Vince Wilfork makes the stop. On defense, the Patriots robbed Ninkovich 6 quarterback sacks. He's forced 5 fumbles to go with them. Rookie linebacker Dante Hightower 3 sacks and has one of the Patriots' 5 defensive touchdowns this season. Newly acquired cornerback Aqib Talib has one too, a 59-yard interception return against the Colts 2 weeks ago. 3rd and 3 for the Dolphins. Tannehill throwing and underthrows his intended receiver, Rashard Matthews.
Well, and you're exactly right, Greg. He had an opening, and again, 2 mistakes out of 3 plays early here for Joe Philbin's offense.
Julian Edelman will be back to take the punt from one of the best punters in the league, in Brandon Fields.
And the Patriots on special teams have become a scoring machine.
Edelman with a punt return touchdown this season, 68 yards against Indy. Low snap still has problems picking it up, and he is buried at the 12-yard line.
Oh, could it possibly start much worse for Miami? You're right, Greg. It was a low snap, but still, I know the football is a little wet. You can see the ball, but it didn't hop to Fields, and then he just couldn't. He tried so quickly to pick it up. If there was not a New England rush, if he was able to field it cleanly the first time, I think he could have gotten a directional punt away. But right there, that second bobble is the one that doomed it.
First down, New England at the 12. This is Ridley. And Ridley inside the 10, and we get a penalty marker, our first one of the day. And this is going to be a hold against the Patriots. Ron Winter, our referee.
Holding. Offense number 64. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's the ex-Miami Dolphin, Donald Thomas, who's starting at left guard today for Logan Mankins.
Yeah, Logan Mankins just can't get healthy and get back into the lineup. Hopefully for the Patriots, he'll get ready as they head towards the playoffs. But Mankins, their all-pro guard, now missing his 6th game because of ankle and calf problems.
So 1st and 20 now from the 22-yard line.
Line.
Brady under pressure, throws just off the fingertips of Aaron Hernandez.
And Tom had Hernandez. Hernandez going to run a little corner pattern right here, right up, and then he heads to the corner, and he is wide open, and Tom just leads him too much. Yeah, that could have been a circus catch, but that should have been a pretty easy completion. Tom Brady just threw that a little too far out in front of Aaron Hernandez.
2nd and 20. Time throws over the middle, and that's complete into the 10-yard line as Wes Welker. His first catch of the day, his 81st on the season.
Well, and Brady got hit just as he released that football. The Miami pass rush gets to him at the last instant. He's got a lot of time, but right there just falling into his ankles, Cameron Wake. But it makes a little more manageable 3rd down.
3rd and 8. Patriots can get a first down without scoring a touchdown. Stepping up, throwing inside the 5, and very close to a first down at the 2-yard line is Hernandez.
Oh, this is going to be really close. Where are they going to spot the football?
Give him the first down.
There aren't many things more discouraging for a defense than to have the offense commit a holding penalty, putting them in a 1st and 20 situation, and then they routinely convert it. That has got to be frustrating for Miami. That's they had a little help from the Patriots, and the Patriots overcame it.
So 1st and goal from the 2. You see their red zone success. Ridley, no, fake to him and overthrown intentionally by Brady, I would think. Hernandez was covered in the end zone.
Yeah, he was covered by number 27, Jimmy Wilson. Take a look at it here at the very end. Now, Brady's used to having traffic like that flash in front of him, but he basically just throws it away because of good Miami coverage.
2nd and goal. Ridley, left side, bouncing off tacklers and into the end zone for the touchdown.
Well, the Miami player that had Ridley is hurt. I'm trying to see who that is. It might be Randy Starks. Randy Starks, I think, had Ridley wrapped up. And Randy Starks injured himself on the play. I think it's Starks who's got him tackled. I mean, watch this. He's going to bounce right back in that pile. Randy Starks had him. Yeah, there comes Starks. And then he falls awkwardly and isn't able to wrap up. He's grabbing at that right arm of his. And a bobbled snap. It wasn't a good snap, but Fields certainly on multiple tries couldn't field it cleanly.
That's only the 5th rushing touchdown allowed by the Miami Dolphins. Gostkowski for the extra point. And it is good. Asked Tom Brady last night, what could improve for you on offense? And he said, starting quickly. The Miami Dolphins contributed big time to that, 7-0 New England. The botched punt attempt by Miami gave New England great field position. They overcame a holding penalty and scored the touchdown, courtesy of Stephen Ridley. Ridley, quite the ground gainer for these Patriots this season. Thigpen will not get a chance to run this one back And it'll be a touchback, and they'll come out to the 20-yard line. And onto the field again, Ryan Tannehill. Our chat with him yesterday, Dan, he is a level-headed young man.
You know, he really is. He's enjoying the experience. You know, he came out of a big program at Texas A&M. We asked him, I said, how come your nickname wasn't Johnny Football? And, of course, Manziel was a true freshman, and he and Tannehill were teammates for a year. And he's got nothing but glowing words for the Heisman Trophy candidate.
He said he threw it all over the place in practice. First down.
Go!
Tannehill to Bush. And Bush loses yardage. Courtesy of big Vince Wilfork.
We talked about Tom Brady at 35 playing as well as he is. Big Vince Wilfork, he's got good instincts. You can see him fighting with Richie Incognito. Incognito can't get much of it, but Vince doesn't overcommit. Great use of the hands, falls into the ball carrier. And as a large, affable man, he is fun to be around.
Yes, thank goodness he's affable. 2nd and 12. Tannehill running out of time on the move and throwing sideline, and that catch is made just across the 25-yard line by Brian Hartline.
Wow,
good throw, good catch.
Really, initially, talk about walking a tightrope along the sideline. But this is what Tannehill can do. He's got great movement skills, and that is just tremendous by Hartline of working the sidelines, leaning all the way out of bounds, but yet his 2 feet in the field of play. Outstanding body control by Brian Hartline.
And now 3rd and 4 for Tannehill and the Dolphins. Throwing and incomplete. Devon Best broke in. The pass was to the outside.
Well, that's where the coverage is being read by both the receiver and the quarterback. Tannehill read it one way and Devon Best read it the other. Not a great start to this game for Devon Best so far, who started the game with a dropped pass. And now the next time they try to go to him, a miscommunication.
So Edelman back once again. And Fields will give this another shot.
I'm sure John Denny, the long snapper, is going to try to get this a little more up in the air. There it goes.
Edelman from his own 17. And down at about the 26-yard line. 10:28 to play in the first quarter. Tom Brady and the New England Patriots back on offense. When we come back to Miami, it's 7-0 New England. Back in Miami, the Patriots from their own 26-yard line. And Brady gets started off in the shotgun. And another drop pass, this one by Aaron Hernandez again.
Well, you can't blame this on the weather or anything else. It's no longer raining, and a perfect strike from Tom Brady. Hernandez a little rusty. You know, he missed 6 games, and he's still working himself back into playing shape. His second game back. Timely for New England. He comes back just as Gronkowski exited with the broken foot.
On 2nd and 10, Brady up the seam and diving and not being able to make the catch is tight end Daniel Fells, who's getting more playing time in Gronkowski's absence.
Well, and that's Gronkowski's pattern, the seam pattern. He and Brady have almost copyrighted that in their ability to find it going up the field, and this time the coverage is tight. You got to give Miami credit. They got a pretty good bracket. It took a perfect throw and catch.
3rd and 10. Brady with time, far side of the field, and that catch is made on the far side by Edelman for a first down out to about the 39-yard line.
Boy, a good pattern that time by Julian Edelman, the former quarterback. Keep in mind, he's coming back from a concussion. And he really got some good separation there. A little bit of a push off on Carroll, but by NFL standards, no big deal.
This is Woodhead. Woodhead with running room up the middle. Just to go back to what Tom Brady was saying to us last night there, that this team has been doing so well and so much offensively. It was kind of surprising to hear him say that they needed to work on some things on offense. And I said, like what? I said, starting and finishing games.
Tom Brady will never be satisfied. It's one of the things that Bill Belichick loves about him.
Brady sets up the screen for Woodhead.
A good-looking screen.
And Woodhead into Miami territory to the 45-yard line and a first down.
Boy, initially that looked like that was going to go for a lot more yardage. That was perfectly set up. Woodhead's got 3 blockers out in front of him. There goes Connolly, there goes Wendell, and then back to the inside. And it's just excellent work there by Miami.
Brady eludes the rush, going to go deep. Has a man open and overthrows Edelman. Down the middle of the field. You had 2 men beaten.
Well, while Tom Brady is not to be confused with RG3, he is nimble enough to get away that time. It's really a nice job by Brady. Not great, he's not a superior athlete, but he can stay alive in the pocket. And again, he just put a little too much air under that football to Edelman. Like Peyton Manning, he's got great pocket awareness. While he's not a threat to run 20 yards downfield, he can stay alive.
On 2nd and 10, here comes the blitz, and the quick pass is complete, and inside the 40 to the 35 is Wes Welker again. Wes Welker, Miami fans know him well. Terrific performer here before he moved on to New England.
Yeah, there's still a lot of people in South Florida lamenting the fact that the Dolphins traded him for a number 2 pick.
This is Ridley. Ridley, and the penalty marker is down in the backfield to about the 33-yard line.
Well, that was, I think, Sebastian Vollmer, the right tackle. He was in the vicinity of that flag.
Holding. Offense number 76. 10-yard penalty. Team first down.
Dan, it's never good if the penalty flag almost hits you, right?
Oh well, I've seen guys where it sticks in the face mask, and you can see he's got Cameron Wake just really tied up, actually spinning him all the way around. Vollmer's been dealing with a chronic back problem. He wasn't able to play in the Thanksgiving night game against the Jets. He's been playing all year and able to play through it. And it's the second time today that the Patriots have to deal with a 1st and 20.
12 offensive plays, 10 of them passes. Quick pass. Inside the 35 to about the 32 or 33 is Welker once again. And they get a bunch of it back.
So hard to deal with that quick little slant, especially from a guy like Welker, who's got such lateral quickness. He gets separation on a 5-yard pattern quicker than anybody I've seen in a long time.
This is Danny Woodhead, and Woodhead stuffed at about the 31. Carlos Dansby leading the charge there as you look at Miami's first-year coach, Joe Philbin. Enjoyed talking with him, Dan.
Well, he's relishing his chance to be a head coach in the National Football League. As you see, he's used to working with high-powered offenses. That's what he had going on with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers and Mike McCarthy.
36.
He's not used to an offense that sputters as much as his Dolphins one has been doing this year.
Brady pulls it down and throws over the middle, and nobody there as he hits the turf.
Well, Ron Winter's trying to figure out if Tom Brady was outside the tackle box, thus outside the pocket, and he determines he was, so there's no intentional grounding.
So onto the field comes Gostowski, who has a long field goal this year of 53 yards.
Credit to Miami front there, Greg. They got enough pressure on Tom Brady to move him off the spot, and he wasn't able to find anybody open. That was good pressure.
This one will be from 49 yards out. The wind is at his back. Push that one way right. Gostowski has now missed 3 of his last 4 field goal attempts. It stays a 7-0 game. He's missed not only keeps the game at 7-0, but it also gives Miami good field position at their own 39-yard line.
Now that's the 6th kick that Gostowski has missed so far this season. You'll see a lot of kickers that'll go the whole year and not even come close to missing half a dozen field goals.
51.
Go! Reggie Bush dipping to the outside and out of bounds at about the 42-yard line. Our first update of the day. JB and Boomer, take it away.
Texans can help their own cause, Boom.
They win today, they get into the playoffs. Here's Matt Schaub. He's going to find Lesthar Jean on the sideline. Bad pursuit there by the safety, JB. Touchdown, 7-3, Houston over Tennessee.
Back to the star, Greg Gumbel and Dan Deerdorf.
Thank you, guys. Pick up a 4 on the play, 2nd and 6. 28, go! Goes the other way, and this catch is made, and diving for a first down is Brian Hartline across midfield and into New England territory at the 48.
Just nothing flashy about Brian Hartline, just good, solid, fundamental football. And that time he shakes a tackle by Aqib Talib and able to pick up some nice positive yardage and move the sticks.
Miami with its first down of the afternoon as the sun comes out. 28, go! Play fake. Tannehill gonna go deep. Got a man open down the middle of the field and overthrew him. Brian Hartline was wide open.
And Aqib Talib, you could see, turned around right away, looking like he's expecting safety help. He releases Hartline and then realizes at the last minute, wow, did I get lucky? Because that is a pretty easy completion, except Ryan Tannehill, that simple overthrow. Just put too much on it. You don't get very many chances like that during the course of the game against a good team.
This is Bush. Takes his time, waits for a block, and goes down close to the 45-yard line. Once again, back to New York. JB and Boomer.
Colts have won 5 of the last 6, Boom.
And how about Andrew Luck, JB? Just pick it up where he's left off, but better on the road, right to Donnie Avery. 7-3 over the Detroit Lions.
Trying to become the first #1 overall to win 8 in his rookie year. Back to Greg and Dan.
51 triple.
All right, guys. It's
27
strange that the Houston Texans, with the best record in the AFC, are the only one of the division leaders who can't clinch a division title today. Thanks to those Indianapolis Colts.
It is kind of strange.
3rd and 6.
What do you know? They have competition in their division.
Tannehill got hit as he let go. Big Vince Wilfork.
And that just completely picked Tannehill up off the ground and deposited him on his backside. Working against incognito. Look at that good slap move back to the inside. And it's really more Tannehill falling awkwardly from just a pretty shove on the throwing arm, pretty decent shove on the throwing arm by Wilfork.
Brandon Fields once again to kick it away to Julian Edelman. This one takes a roll down inside the 5 and will be buried at about the 2.5-yard line. 4.5 minutes to play. Brady and company deep in their own territory after this. Back in Miami, 4.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Ridley in the backfield behind Brady, and he gets the handoff. Maybe 2 out to the 5.
Well, the rotation continues on the offensive line for the Patriots. Dan Conley, he's been having some back issues. He's over on the New England bench. Nick McDonald is in his place at right guard. So now both of the starting guards for the Patriots are out of this game. Logan Mankins didn't even make the trip to Florida.
It is amazing the amount of offense they put together at times with a makeshift offensive line, Dan.
A lot of credit goes to Dante Scarnecchia, their offensive line coach. He's one of the best the game's ever seen.
2nd and 8. Brady outside for Hernandez. Hernandez breaking it upfield across the 20 and out to about the 25-yard line. First down.
Well, Kevin Burnett just found out what a lot of linebackers already know in this league, that covering Aaron Hernandez one-on-one is a thankless task. And there aren't many linebackers that can do it. And you see when Hernandez gets out here, he's already got separation. And Burnett I'm not sure he touched him. If he was playing flag football, I'm not sure he would have got him.
On first down, Brady down the sideline for Hernandez. Intercepted. Picked off by Rashad Jones. Jones bringing it back up the sideline. Has a chance to go to the end zone. We have a penalty marker down at the 25.
Well, we'll see what the penalty is, but I can tell you that the coverage initially by Rashad Jones could not have possibly been any better. Talk about being in the hip pocket of the receiver.
Would be Jones's 3rd interception of the season, and only the 4th that Brady has thrown.
Well, all the players are certainly acting like this is against Miami. Let's get the definitive answer.
After the interception, there are 2 fouls. Personal foul, low block, New England, number 22. Personal foul, low block, New England. Those fouls will be administered by placing the ball at the spot of the return team foul. First down, Miami.
Well, because both of these fouls happen post-possession and change of possession, Miami keeps the football. But Aaron Hernandez was if he felt like there was somebody inside his jersey, that's because that's exactly where Jones was. He was that close. And Tom Brady chose to try to get it to Hernandez, even though he couldn't even see much of Aaron Hernandez, and a one-handed INT by Rashad Jones. Well done.
So Miami's ball at the New England 34-yard line. Daniel Thomas is now in at the running back position for the first time today. And he gets the handoff to about the 31. And the wind has picked up on the field.
It has picked up. And that was the longest active streak in the NFL, 202 consecutive passes without an interception.
And keep in mind, Rashad Jones had to make a heck of a play on it.
Well, he did, but he couldn't possibly have had his man covered any better than he was covering Hernandez. Tom Brady decided to throw into that coverage.
End around. Except this is Marcus Thigpen with running room. He came out of the slot on the far side and has a first down at about the 22-yard line.
Well, and Marcus Thigpen, he's got a punt return for a touchdown, a kickoff return for a touchdown. So you try to get this guy the ball in the open field where he can make people miss. He has got massive explosiveness, and he's been a nice little free agent pickup for the Dolphins.
Ball spotted at the 23 of the Patriots. Go! This is Thomas again. And we get a late flag thrown by Ron Winter, the referee.
Well, that's pretty self-explanatory. Normally the referee's job is to spotlight the right tackle on the right side of the offensive line.
Holding. Offense number 74. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's John Jerry, the right guard. Meanwhile, a few moments ago, the fine left tackle Jake Long left the field and headed for the locker room. So Tannehill without his left tackle.
And Jonathan Martin, who started at the right side, I think he's moved over to left tackle.
Tannehill looking for the screen, not there, throws it away.
Yeah, this is really stretching the Dolphins on their offensive line with Jake Long going out. Jonathan Martin, who's already a rookie, he's got to move over to the left tackle spot.
And then I think Garner has moved into the right tackle slot.
Yeah, Garner's got some experience. He's a 5-year veteran, but now you've got a rookie playing left tackle. And Rob Ninkovich is headed his direction.
2nd and 20. Go. Give it to Thomas. Nothing there.
Is that
ball and covered by Richie Incognito, it would appear.
He's
right there in the center of your screen.
He's got it. And I would lay odds that once he gets it, nobody's going to get it away from him. Unless they're going to be minus a limb or two. No question, that ball certainly seemed to come out. And 2 Patriots have a chance at it. And between the 2 of them, they shoot it over towards Incognito.
The word we get from the Dolphins is it's a tricep injury for Jake Long, and his return is questionable at this point. And we get a timeout. Trouble getting the play in. Tannehill burns a timeout. 7-0, New England. Jake Long back from the locker room and on the sideline. 3rd and 19. Tannehill going to run for it. Hit at the 26-yard line. Brought down by Kyle Arrington.
And no hook slide for Ryan Tannehill. He was having to readjust his helmet at the end of it, and he gets face masked at the end, I believe, by Kyle Arrington. And somehow the officials missed it.
Didn't see that one at all.
No, they didn't. And some guys, you get a tape job to come back in the game, and then they tape an ice bag to it because you really did some damage. And you can see the ice bag on the left arm of Jake Long.
And New England has called a timeout here to force Dan Carpenter to kick into the wind here. Dolphins were content to let the quarter wind down.
Smart move. That is well, now there's some discussion.
Well, maybe a smart move, but one that Bill Belichick wasn't up on.
Well, the wind certainly seems to be going from left to right, and this would be putting Carpenter right into it.
And this lines up as being a 44-yard field goal attempt. The wind is gusting. It's not a steady wind. And in pregame warm-ups, Dan Carpenter was getting some height to these kicks going in this direction.
And some ball movement as well. There was a little bit of zigging and zagging going on some of the punts going this direction. Some of the kicks, rather, going this direction.
Fields holding, Gostkowski, or rather, Dan Carpenter kicking it on its way and looks good. With 1 second to play here in the first quarter, the Dolphins hit the scoreboard. It's New England 7, Miami 3, and we're back with the NFL on CBS after this.
Well, the Miami Dolphins took advantage of the turnover and got at least 3 points out of it, got on the board, at least something to feel good about. But right now, the concern, I think, is for their left tackle, Jake Long, and whether or not he's going to be able to play anymore.
Out of the end zone, Devin McCourty, 15-20. And pulls his way out to about the 24-25-yard line. And we come to the end of one here in Miami. It's the Patriots 7-3. We're back after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 47. We get set to start the second quarter. It's been a mixed bag on offense for New England so far. A touchdown, a missed field goal, and then Tom Brady interception. And there is Dan Connolly, the starting right guard, leaving the field. So both replaced by Nick McDonald. Pass to the sideline, and that is complete to number 83, Welker.
Yeah, both teams now down one of their starting offensive linemen. As Dan Connolly's really been fighting back problems of his own. And it has been a revolving door at the guard position this year for the Patriots.
8-yard pickup, 2nd and 2. Ridley. And Ridley bouncing off of tacklers, but then eventually down back at about the 30-yard line by Cameron Wake.
Well, Stephen Ridley's still a young running back in this league, and bouncing outside doesn't work all that often in the NFL. Give Cameron Wake credit. He's the guy that set the original edge. He's the guy that forced Ridley to bounce to the outside initially, and he created that loss.
3rd and 4. Brady going to throw it outside. Diving catch is made by Welker, but he's going to be short of a first down.
And I think Wes Welker's a little upset that he runs that out pattern short of the sticks. And that's the only way that can be successful is if you can catch it in stride, headed upfield. It's almost impossible to be going at a 90-degree angle towards the sideline and think you're going to be able to somehow swivel your hips quickly enough to get upfield and pick up a first down.
And now the Patriots have to kick it to Thigpen. And there's the flag in the Patriot backfield.
False start. Offense number 43. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
43 is Nate Ebner.
Yeah, he's got those old-fashioned shoulder pads built up in the back. That's a throwback look right there. Guys back in the 60s and 70s used to wear those things all the time.
Big rush put on. He goes down with a flag.
Yeah, they ran into the kicker, no question about it. Mesko got hit and hit hard.
Jimmy Wilson, the man who hit him, is the one who is still down on the field.
Zoltan Mesko is a big guy at 6'5", 230.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. 15-yard penalty and a first down.
Let's take another look.
Well, it's an all-out rush by the Dolphins. They really come after Mesko, but they don't get it, and that's a really easy call for Ron Winter. The punter is completely vulnerable with his leg up in the air, both feet off the ground. And Jimmy Wilson, that's just no way around that. That's roughing the kicker.
Brady, quick pass, and that one is at the feet of Wes Welker, and that's ruled incomplete. It'll be 2nd down. Meanwhile, they continue to look at Jimmy Wilson, who was helped off the field on that last play.
Yeah, they've been testing his arm strength and his ability to reflexively use his arms and his neck. He took a pretty good shot when he ran into Mesko. The good sign is he's grabbing his helmet. He wants back in on the action.
On 2nd down, that pass is Welker, and Welker has a first down inside the Miami 45 to about the 43. And Welker in this game has now gone over 1,000 yards receiving for the season.
Well, he's left relatively wide open. Brian McCann is the first guy to get close to him. Tom ends up on the ground at the end of it, but no harm, no foul with that.
And Welker to the 35. Once again to New York, JB and Boomer.
Boomer, have you fantasized about throwing to this guy? How about this? Calvin Johnson down the sideline. JB, who's the quarterback's best friend? Old lineman, right?
Yeah, I guess so, but I'd like that guy to be my best friend, too.
Oh, Dan Deerdorfer disagreed. Greg and Dan.
Yeah, I guess so. What kind of an answer was that, Norman?
Hey, come!
2nd and 3 for Brady. And that is broken up at about the 30-yard line, and a flag comes in from the secondary. Rashad Jones, who intercepted Brady in the first quarter.
Pass interference. Defense number 20. Penalizing the spot of the foul and a first down.
Well, I got to tell you, from first blush when I looked at it, it looked like Jones did a pretty good job. You can have your hand on the receiver as long as you don't move the torso. And in the opinion of the back judge, he moved his torso, moved his body enough with the right hand to draw the flag.
Didn't see it there on first down.
I thought it looked pretty good at first blush.
Brady, and he had that one tipped on its way by Carlos Dansby.
Yeah, Dansby doing what a middle linebacker ought to do, is drop back into his hook zone.
Carlos Dansby incredibly lighter than he was a year ago, Dan.
Yeah, he told us at the beginning of last year he weighed 270 pounds, and now he's down to about 238. That is a huge weight loss.
And he says he's 10 times stronger now than he was then.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he's very good at multiplication.
Hey, move out. Go 67.
10 times. I think he said 10 times stronger, 10 times faster.
Brady just gets the snap in time, has time, and throws, and that's complete to Hernandez. Hernandez ditches a tackler across the 20 to the 18 in the first down.
Well, Aaron Hernandez, a star at the University of Florida, now the second time in this game that he has made people miss and got some yards after the catch. Tom's got all the time in the world. Hernandez was at least his third option, and R.J. Stanford that time could not make the tackle. And Hernandez looks like he's doing a good job of working his way back into game shape after that ankle.
First down, Brady going to stick with the aerial attack and throws inside the 15. Welker to the 10.
There we go. That time Wes Welker got away from Dansby. And these New England receivers are making some Miami guys miss. Coming from the left, there's Carlos Dansby, a much bigger guy. And even though he's 10 times faster, he just still couldn't get Wes Welker on the ground.
That's Woodhead.
And you know, Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator, and everyone in New England is so glad to have him back after the head coach of the Broncos for a couple of years. Last year, the offensive coordinator of the Rams. But he's not afraid to put the ball in the air, even with this outstanding running game of the Patriots. They've got 22 passing plays against only a half a dozen runs. Now they're conceding that Miami plays the run pretty well. But that is some imbalance.
It's also some confidence in your passing game.
I wonder where that comes from.
That much for first down.
Tom Brady, though, and Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick have been a nice little trio.
So 3rd and 1, and Stephen Ridley, number 22, is in the lineup. Will be in the backfield with Brady.
And Ridley's the running back for the Patriots that's got the most power.
Quick snap. And appears to have the first down at the 7.
You know, Ridley's a good solid 220 on a 5'11 frame, and Vereen is more the slasher, the quick guy to the outside. Danny Woodhead, a kind of a combination of both, but Stephen Ridley is, when you need some tough, dirty yards to the inside, he's the guy you look to.
1st and goal for the Patriots at the Miami 7. Clock continues to move, 9:40 to play here in the first half. Play fake. Lots of time. Corner of the end zone, nobody there. It'll be 2nd and goal.
He was looking at Welker. Welker's wrapped up. He's got Sean Smith and Jones both working on him. But Julian Edelman to the inside. You know, West takes the double coverage. Edelman back to the inside was really waving at Tom Brady like, I'm wide open. But that's a smart move by the Dolphins. Bracket Welker in this situation.
13th play of this drive.
This is where they really missed Gronkowski. In the red zone.
Quick pass to the outside. Welker walks into the end zone.
Every quarterback in the world, Greg, will tell you that the slip screen is the best way to beat the blitz. And that time, Miami commits everybody. This is an all-out, sell-out blitz. Watch everybody coming up the middle. Nobody's in a position to defend the middle of the field. And when Dell gets out there, Vollmer's out there, and that's a walk-in touchdown for Wes Welker. Perfect call against that defense.
For the 44th straight game, Tom Brady throws a touchdown pass. That's third best NFL streak.
You sell out on a blitz like that, feast or famine.
The extra point is good. 9:21 to play in the first half. 14-3, New England over the Dolphins. Welcome back to Miami. As we mentioned, Tom Brady now with a touchdown pass in 44 straight games. John Unitas went 47. Drew Brees went 54.
Yeah, and Drew Brees' streak came to a screeching halt to that loss against the Atlanta Falcons on Thursday night. So now it's up to Tom Brady to see if he can hunt down Drew Brees.
Big Ben will not get a chance to run this one back. That sails out of the end zone. 9:21 to play here in the first half. We're back up to this. 9:21 to play in the first half, and the Dolphins from their own 20-yard line.
28! Go, go! Go, go!
Started off with Reggie Bush straight up the middle. Let's go back to that touchdown.
Yeah, let's go back there. And I talked about, here is the middle of the Miami defense. Whoa, we got circles going on here today. But then notice how they vacate the entire middle of the field. When Welker comes in here, it is wide open. That is a sellout blitz with nobody in center field. And lo and behold, it was the perfect call by the New England Patriots against what that you could only dream about running it against that defense.
2nd and 6.
Go!
And he'll throw in the backfield is Jaworski Lane. Is that a completion?
Well, he got it back. Luckily, the ball was on the ground and it came right back to Lane.
Jaworski Lane, the rookie free agent out of Texas A&M.
I think that was Brandon Dederick who was right back there at the feet of Ryan Tannehill.
Life-saving block in the backfield. 3rd and 4. Tannehill under pressure, got hit as he let it go.
Is that a fumble?
It is New England football. Trevor Scott with the hit, Vince Wilfork with the recovery. And there is Vince's wife, Bianca, who is not just his biggest fan, one of the biggest football fans around.
Again, there's Scott, number 99, and no doubt about it, that ball comes out before Ryan Tannehill started his throwing motion. And Incognito is just doing a great job of blocking Vince Wilfork. Never got off the line of scrimmage, and the football basically hops right to him. That's where Incognito's got to be going, what am I supposed to do here? And Trevor Scott filling in because Chandler Jones still can't play because of an ankle. Jermaine Cunningham, another defensive lineman, he's been suspended for 4 games, so a lot of non-starters are going to have to play a considerable amount on the defensive line for New England.
And there's Vince delivering the football to his wife.
That's how you stay happily married. And that way, if he doesn't buy her anything really big for Christmas, he could say, don't you remember that football I gave you in Miami?
What would you do with it? From the 25-yard line. Brady under pressure and goes down at the 32. All Soliai, Cameron Wake.
Well, Soliai is predominantly a run stuffer. And you can see right there, he's working on Nick McDonald, who's in there for Connolly. And that's a bonus when you start getting a lot of pressure from Solei in the passing game. He's one of the best run defenders in the NFL. He and Randy Starks form a pretty stout duo of defensive tackles in there for the Fish.
Loss of 7 makes it 2nd and 17. Brady. That will bounce off of the arms of number 78, Tony McDaniel.
Now, you can't be critical of a defensive lineman who's not able to intercept this, but he does a smart thing floating out there, but he gets both hands on it, and it just, man, that would have been a dream come true.
3rd and 17.
So they love to go to the tight end right down the seam.
Quick pass to Welker on this side, and Welker to about the 25. That'll be about 10 yards short of a first down.
Well, they're going to try to get a little more manageable field goal for Gostkowski, who is from a confidence level, he could really use this. And Bill Belichick could really use it as well.
Gostkowski will line this one up, looks to be about 43 yards out. He is 0 for 1 today.
He pushed that first one to the right.
And he has missed 3 of his last 4. This one he's got. 6:53 to play. Vince Wilfork fumbles. Gostkowski with 3. 17-3 Pats. Back in Miami, as we talked about at the top of the day, the New England Patriots with a win here can clinch the AFC East. Baltimore in position to clinch the North, Denver in position to clinch the West.
It is a strange year in the National Football League where so many divisions can be clinched this early.
And Big Ben will not get a chance to return this one either. The touchback will bring the ball out to the 20-yard line. A reminder, Wednesday on CBS, LL Cool J and Taylor Swift host the Grammy nominations concert with live performances from music's biggest stars. Wednesday only, CBS. You know, Dan, there's such an uproar about the Houston Texans this year, and rightfully so, but you and I have been saying for quite a while now that had Matt Schaub not been injured down the stretch last year, that's a football team that could have very easily gone to the Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely. And they had an injured Mario Williams on the sidelines last year as they go down the stretch. They're a good, solid roster.
Reggie Bush. And Bush out across the 25, and we get a late flag. Ron Winter.
Holding. Offense number 80. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
The tight end, Anthony Fasano, and the Dolphins just aren't giving themselves any breaks today.
Well, they knew coming in here that they had to play a really clean football game. That's what underdogs have to do against a superior opponent, and they haven't done it so far. And it just, the first play of the game was a dropped pass. And, it hasn't spun out of control from there, but that's certainly been indicative of the way their day has gone.
So it's 1st and 20. Whoa. That's what you call a running start by Brian Hartline.
False start. Offense number 82. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down. Please reset the game clock to 6:29.
One of the great unanswered mysteries of the universe is how a wide receiver false starts. They don't go on the snap count. They go on the movement of the football. It is a head scratcher.
And he wasn't just off by a little either.
And he's from my high school back in Canton, Ohio, too.
Well, that explains everything.
You know what? Maybe it's not.
Out of the end zone, Tannehill to Pisano. Pisano out across the 15, close to the 20-yard line in the original line of scrimmage.
Well, we've had some miscues in this game, certainly. It started with Fields unable to handle that snap, then roughing the kicker. That results, and then Ryan Tannehill gets blindsided. The ball one-hops right to Vince Wilfork. And we have met the enemy, and they is us.
Line of scrimmage is the 19, so it's 2nd and 11.
Go, go!
Bush once again. This is an outside, has running room, has the first down out to about the 34 or 35-yard line.
Well, Justin Francis has contained on this side. Right there, he's going to complain that he's being held. As you can see, he's not able to get loose. Give some credit there. I think Nate Garner, the right tackle, he's the guy that got the block. It looked like he could have gotten the flag as well, but he didn't.
Bush again. To about the 37.5-yard line.
Reggie
And
Bush
we have another penalty marker.
Reggie Bush will lower his shoulder and he will fight for extra yards.
12 men on the field at the snap. Defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
New England proving that they're not
Perfect.
perfect. And they actually had 13 guys on the field, and the 13th guy got off, but the 12th man didn't.
So Tannehill and the Dolphins with a 1st and 5.
You gotta go lead to the mic here, brother. Thank you. Thank you.
Tannehill on the move, being chased, escapes, got the sideline and out of bounds close to the 50-yard line. That's another first down for Miami.
And we talked to Ryan Tannehill about just that kind of a play, where he's able to move the chains with his legs, and asked him if, looking back during the first part of this season, did he leave some first downs on the field by maybe not doing just this? You know, and it's Kyle Love as that's a hopeless task, trying to run down a guy from like Tannehill when you weigh 325 pounds. Not going to happen.
Bush squeezes through on the left side, inside the New England 45 to about the 43, where Gerard Mayo makes the stop.
You know, getting back to the point about Tannehill running downfield, Greg, that can be demoralizing to a defense. It slows the pass rush. It makes all the up front guys rushing the passer a little more deliberate in honoring their passing lanes and their responsibilities. And it's a weapon I think Joe Philbin would like to see him use a little more.
2nd and 3 as we come up on 4 minutes to play in the first half. Bush, first down to the 37. And that ground game finally beginning to show some results.
And this is what Miami wanted to do from the very beginning. Keep in mind, they've had to make an offensive line adjustment. Jake Long, a tremendous run blocker. He's out of the game. He's got a triceps injury, got an ice bag on that left arm, and he doesn't appear like he's coming back.
Dolphins had 2 first downs on their first 5 drives. They've had 3 on this one. Tannehill throwing over the middle, tipped incomplete. And a penalty marker.
He was trying to get it to Devon Best.
Now the Patriots are going to say that ball was tipped.
But
and before,
Brandon Spikes was being pretty demonstrative about it.
There's no foul for defensive pass interference. Ball was tipped prior to receiving, to getting to the receiver. Second down.
And Spikes was the guy who tipped it. And after a tipped ball, all interference goes away.
Alfonso Dennard did spin his man around, but it came after the tip.
And Brandon Spikes, who's predominantly a run stopper, that was a nice job out in space of elevating and stretching out there and getting a piece of that football.
Tannehill, straight drop. And a little toss complete to Thomas out of the backfield, down at the 30-yard line.
One too many jukes.
Yeah, that looked like it was ticketed for a lot more, didn't it?
It sure did. Well, he had a one-on-one with Kyle Arrington.
.305 to play in the first half. 3rd and 3.
Again, we had a rain shower early. I'm sure the grass might be a little slick. It's certainly not bone dry.
Over the middle, got his man, that is, Hartline, and Hartline with a first down at the 13.
Boy, Brian Hartline really had to work to bring this in. He initially looked like bobbled the ball. Looks like man coverage from Aqib Talib, and on a crossing pattern. Look how long Hartline fights his football. He really has to work to get that thing in there. Again, he still didn't have it completely clean. But Talib was too far away to strip it away while he was bobbling it. Great concentration by Brian Hartline.
First down at the 13. Tannehill. Didn't look like he had any intention of throwing that football, and there was no place to run except right into Kyle Love's arms. 2 minutes to play. Actually, a minute 59. 17-3 Patriots. As we welcome you back to the last minute 59 of the first half, our aerial coverage of today's game being provided by DirecTV on this breezy day.
Well, here's where New England, Greg, has a tendency to tighten things up. They're 27th in yards allowed, 13th in points allowed. You get up and down the field, but it's tough to get in.
Tannehill took it down outside, and Daniel Thomas spinning inside the 5. And very close to another first down.
Well, that's a heck of an effort by Daniel Thomas, because he's going to get hit pretty hard right there by Alfonso Dennard, and he's still able to stay, do a little pirouette and stay alive and pick up another couple yards.
Minute and a half to play. And looks like the Dolphins are certainly going to take their good time about getting the snap off. Daniel Thomas in the backfield. Thomas with the handoff. And the Patriots do tighten up in the middle.
There's Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator. His first year in that capacity, although he's been in New England for 9 years. The defensive coach on the staff, so he has been patiently waiting his opportunity to call the defense.
This has been a 74-yard drive by the Dolphins. Tannehill for the touchdown.
And again, smart move by Miami, taking advantage of Ryan Tannehill's ability out in space to use his legs to make something happen. The guy can flat out run. Great fake to the inside though. He rides that thing in there, and Rob Ninkovich, number 50, you could see how far to the inside he gets sucked in by that play fake. And the corner is there for Tannehill. Kind of a wild celebration going up in the air with that football.
I think it's a terrifically athletic play. Extra point is good. 12-play drive and just under 6.5 minutes to play. Ryan Tannehill up and over for his second rushing touchdown of the season. 7-point game. 80-yard drive capped off by Ryan Tannehill's jaunt leap into the end zone. And it's a 17-10 game with 25 seconds to play. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining.
Again, a tremendous play fake here to Daniel Thomas. Watch Thomas. Actually, he's going to act like he dropped the ball. You see that right there? That's how you sell. That is how you sell a play fake. Even though you don't have it, you're going through the motions acting like you dropped it.
This kick will not be returned. The 40 will take a knee, and they'll start from the 20-yard line. A reminder, coming up, the Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cower, all the latest scores, highlights, playoff scenarios coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. What part of the world would they say scenario rather than scenario?
I think if you wanted to make yourself sound really smart, you would.
Pretty much my house is what you're saying.
And the Patriots getting the football at the start of the second half. They're content to just sit on it and let the first half clock expire.
All in all, considering some of the breaks that didn't go their way, not a bad situation for the Miami Dolphins.
Well, that last drive was everything to them. They're in the ball game right now, and they've got something to feel good about going into the locker room.
That is the end of the first half with the score 17-10 New England. Back with the Verizon Halftime Report after this message and a word from your local station. You're listening to a Pepsi NFL anthem. Download this song and other NFL-inspired anthems at PepsiAnthems.com. Back in Miami, halftime score, New England leading the Dolphins by a score of 17-10. Greg Gumbel along with Dan Deerdorf. And remember, right at the beginning of the day, we said if you tended to brush this game off, heavily weighted in favor of the Patriots, just remember, it's a divisional rivalry, and those count for a lot.
Yeah, they really do. And you got to give Miami credit for the way that they kind of clawed back into this thing. It looked like they were going to lose their grip on things. I would suspect that in the locker room at halftime, Miami's working on defending the New England passing game. And New England's probably saying, we need to start running the football. They've only got 10 rushing yards in the first half.
Yeah, it makes you wonder how much will Tom Brady and Ryan Tannehill figure in the second half? Probably a lot.
Well, yeah, you know Tom Brady will. And again, look how he's thrown the ball 26 times. He attempted 27. He's been sacked 1 time. Now, what Ryan Tannehill has done is that he's really made a couple things happen by getting out of the pocket and taking off running.
Now, what Joe Philbin, the first-year head coach of the Dolphins, told us yesterday is that this is the kind of game where he might be willing to take a few chances. We haven't seen that yet, but it's going to get to be crunch time pretty soon.
I would think so too. Yeah, what does he have to lose? And he's trying to instill confidence in his young quarterback. And again, he realizes that, look, what are the odds of his defense shutting out the Patriots here in the second half? He knows he's got to score points.
New England and Tom Brady will get the football first. They won the toss and deferred. And that's Devin McCourty deep in his own end zone as Dan Carpenter gets set to kick it away. And here we go. And this one will not be brought back. And they'll start from their own 20-yard line as we look at some halftime numbers. Passing yardage weighted in favor of the Patriots. They had a bunch of first downs early.
Well, and you can just see that the Patriots have only run the ball 8 times against 27 pass attempts. And yeah, so that they are rarely out of balance like that. Keep in mind, they're averaging almost 144 yards a game running the football, and they just haven't been able to do anything running the football at all today. I mean, seriously, 8 attempts for a grand total of 10 yards. That's a little over a yard a carry. I don't think the coaches are going to be happy with that.
On first down, Brady going to throw it. That's incomplete. Edelman, the intended receiver. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Dan Connolly still not back in the game at right guard for the New England Patriots. Nick McDonald is taking his place. Actually, right now, Marcus Cannon is in at right guard. He subbed at right tackle last week for Baltimore.
This is Ridley. And Ridley with a 7.5, maybe an 8-yard pickup.
If Miami defensively could somehow keep New England from converting on this third down, what a shot in the arm that would be for them.
Ridley lined up behind Brady. Hernandez with the motion and the pitch for Ridley. Left side. And fights his way close to a first down, but comes up just short of the 30-yard line.
It has been tough to get the edge on this Miami defense. Stephen Ridley has repeatedly tried to bounce it to the outside. And that time it was just an outstanding piece of work by Koamisi, the strong side linebacker, as he just didn't give any ground at all. And this is exactly what Joe Philbin was praying for, that he'd get a 3 and out, and let's see if their offense can do something with it.
For only the 12th time, New England a 3 and out. That's the fewest in the National Football League. Meskin with the kick. Thigpen from his 17. And down at about the 22 or 23-yard line. 13:27 to play in the third quarter. And Miami on offense for the first time in this half, trailing by 7. Not a good sign for the Dolphins that their left tackle, Jake Long, has come out of the locker room without his uniform on. He's a spectator for the rest of the day.
You knew the minute they put that ice bag on that his day was done.
This is Bush. Dragged down at about the 24-yard line by Brandon Spikes.
Well, Brandon Spikes, certainly another player from Florida, played at the University of Florida. And he is a run-stopping machine. That is his specialty. A big physical presence at 255 there in the middle.
Yeah, lacking a little bit in pass defense, but getting better.
Well, yeah. But he plays with a guy like Gerard Mayo that covers the whole field.
Tannehill over the middle, and that's batted down.
There's Spikes again.
I guess that pass defense is okay.
He got a little excited about that. Did a little dance out on the field. And then, as he traditionally does in long yardage situations, he comes out. But, you know, he's just playing that middle zone, and Anthony Fasano comes right to him. Not often you get to defend a pass by moving as little as Brandon Spikes did on that one.
Tannehill now looking at a 3rd and 9. And on the slant, that's too high and incomplete. Reggie Bush.
Well, it was high and behind, and I'm not sure Reggie Bush even thought he was going to be in on this. By the time he looks back, it's there didn't appear to be any cohesion and timing on that pattern between Tannehill and Bush at all.
So Edelman now back inside of his own 25-yard line. And one of the very best punters in the league, Brandon Fields. He's walking here. This one line drive and returnable from the 16. Across the 25, out to about the 30-yard line. Well, it's still early, but doesn't keep Brandon Spikes from dancing a little bit on the field. It's the Patriots by 7. Oh, I pity the bar of soap that's got to get rid of that stuff sometime later today. Or maybe it stays, who knows?
Wonder when they're going to get Brandon Lloyd involved in the offense. He split out at the bottom of the screen with nary a catch.
Brady looks his way, throws inside, incomplete, intended for Hernandez. Hey, tomorrow, to succeed in business, the girls will need some special help, especially when they have uninvited guests. A new Two Broke Girls tomorrow, only CBS.
Well, we're used to seeing, especially in the last 4 or 5 weeks, this offense of the New England Patriots just rarely making a mistake. An incompletion is rare, and just not in great rhythm today. You've got to give Miami some credit for that. But this isn't the offense we've been used to seeing in the last month and a half.
Brady going to go deep down the sideline. It is incomplete.
Boy, is that Carlos Dansby running with Vereen? That ball landed clear out of bounds. I'm not sure that was a catchable ball.
Pass interference. Defense number 58. Penalizes the spot of the foul.
Well, there's no question.
First down.
No question that Dansby put an arm bar on Shane Vereen. And he did it 25 yards downfield, and he restricted his ability to run past it. That was obvious. There's an argument about the ball being catchable or not, but that's a judgment call. That's all there is to it.
Meanwhile, Ridley cuts inside of the blocker and is spun down at about the 35-yard line.
Well, you just have to think that New England would love, in some shape, manner, or form, get back to running the football. And when I say get back to it, I'm talking about what they did before this game started. They haven't run it since we've been here. And Josh McDaniels, again, and Tom Brady will be the first to tell you, the big difference from last year to this year was he's got a running game he can count on. Well, not today.
Walker has been thrown at 12 times today, 8 for Hernandez.
And again, Brandon Lloyd, really
quick pass. This is Hernandez, and Hernandez winds his way back towards the middle, inside the 35 to the 32.
Well, that was intended for him to come back to the inside and then immediately head upfield. But right here, look at the pursuit from Miami. You know, Hernandez, that wasn't by design that he tries to come all the way back and make something happen. Miami that time did a great job of pursuing.
Now the Dolphins with a chance to put a stop on him at 3rd and 4. New England only 3 out of 7 on 3rd down conversions today. Brady under pressure and goes down hard. Cameron Wake.
Well, Cameron Wake is isolated on Sebastian Vollmer, the right tackle, number 76, and he just beats him around the corner. Vollmer doesn't get a hit on Wake. He can't slow him down. He gives him a soft upfield shoulder, and Cameron Wake, now in double digits with sacks, just a classic edge rush.
Cameron Wake told us yesterday he's always been a tweener, defensive end or linebacker, so comfortable at both positions.
Now, he's a football player.
Devon Best going to let this one bounce, and it rolls into the end zone.
Matthew Slater, he was right there, and he just couldn't corral it.
Ten and a half minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. The Miami Dolphins, a touchdown down to the New England Patriots. Tannehill and company from their own 20-yard line. Reggie Bush in the backfield gets the handoff. Dances for about a yard. Rob Ninkovich makes the stop.
Well, big Vince Wilfork had a busy first half. Gets in there and upfield pressure, gets tackled. Now he gets by and puts Tannehill on his back, and then just in the right place at the right time. And his wife, Bianca, ends up with the football. The mad texter.
Yes.
She's always got that phone in her hand.
Go, go! On 2nd and 9, Bush again, this time trying the left side, nothing there, and he's buried at about the line of scrimmage again. You know, what did Vince Wilfork tell us yesterday? He says, we're 8-3 and we haven't played our best football yet. That's kind of scary.
Well, I just think that's a mantra that Bill Belichick continually sells these guys on, that I don't care how much success you're having. There's more to be had. You can get better. Your technique isn't perfect. There are a lot of rough edges still to be worked out. They've bought into it. Hey, and you watch it play today, it's true.
On 3rd and 8. That pass is, what a catch made across the 40-yard line by Charles Clay. reached back, picked it out of the air, first down Miami.
Boy, you called that right, Greg. That is a superlative effort by Clay, who had a big week last week for the Dolphins. And that ball is way behind him, and Tavon Wilson just not in a position. If he was a little bit closer, Clay wouldn't have been able to reach back that far. Man, that's hard going one way to reach back and snare it back.
From Miami out to the 42. Deep drop this time. Tannehill got rid of it. Incomplete. Kyle Arrington in on the quarterback. We get an update from JB and Boomer.
Back and forth ball game in Detroit.
Young Colts are fun to watch, guys. Watch Vic Ballard right here. 11-yard scamper right into the end zone. They go on, score a touchdown, 23-21 Lions over the Colts.
Back to Greg and Dan.
Well, you're right, Boomer. We saw those Colts the first week of the season. Andrew Luck brand spanking new, and they were fun to watch, even in defeat that day.
Well, and against one of the toughest defenses in the league, the Chicago Bears.
On 2nd and 10, this is Thomas, and Thomas buried in a play that went nowhere, and guess who? Number 75.
Well, the two stalwarts up front, Vince Wilfork and Gerard Mayo, number 51. Look at Mayo get in there. He reads it, but he's in a cleanup position because Vince Wilfork, so far upfield, made that happen. He got by Richie Incognito, and again, Vince Wilfork. He was fired up about coming home. Grew up here, went to college here. He is a South Florida guy.
Now on 3rd and 14, Tannehill with good protection and throws complete. And Devon Bess appeared to have the first down and then backtracked a couple of yards.
You could see him put his head down at the end of it.
And here comes one of those moments when Joe Philbin says, maybe I will go for it on 4th down here.
There's Bess working out of the slot.
Nope, he won't.
And he's going to make, he's just trying to make a play. But Kyle Arrington stayed right with him.
Brandon Fields comes on to kick it away to Welker.
I think Joe Philbin is feeling good about the way his defense so far has been playing the Patriots. And I think he's making a calculated guess here that if he were to give Tom Brady the football at midfield, it might be a 24-10 difference.
Fields lost this one up. And again, they nail it down deep.
Great punt.
Out at the 2-yard line. Well, if you're mired in cold and snowy weather, so sorry. That is a look at downtown Miami on a beautiful afternoon, part of our aerial coverage provided by DirecTV today. From the 2-yard line, Ridley squeezes through and hauled down at about the 7.
Well, it didn't look like it was going anywhere right off the bat, and Stephen Ridley gives the Patriots a little running room. You know, Joe Philbin's decision to punt from the 50, didn't want to give it to Brady. Fields came through, got the field position. Let's see if the defense can do their part.
Ridley again. And very close to a first down out of the 11, be about a yard short.
Well, and I think this is a statement here going, look, I know we haven't been able to run the the offensive line of the Patriots that time really came off the football. Thomas and Wendell got a heck of a double team. Solder. And Tom Brady's picking up the pace here a little bit.
3rd and 1. Keeps it.
He got it, and Tom Brady is just so good at the quarterback sneak. It sure looked to me like he got enough yardage. Puts that back flat. And keep in mind, he just got a really good surge by the guys up front. I mean, he's just following Nick McDonald.
Nick McDonald, yeah.
And Ridley again.
Tripped up as he crossed. There's a penalty flag down.
Thrown by the umpire.
And this is going to bring yardage back against the Patriots. Here's Ron Winter.
Holding. Offense number 86. Penalized half the distance to the goal. Repeat first down.
Daniel Fells, the tight end.
And again, you know, one of the we all see Rob Gronkowski making the big plays downfield, the spectacular catches, the touchdown spikes. He's a very good run-blocking tight end. And his absence is being noticed here in the Patriots running game. And his replacement there, Daniel Fells, ends up with the hold.
So another chance for the Miami defense. 1st and 16.
Again, Brandon Lloyd. 49 catches coming into this game. I don't think he's even been targeted.
Nope, not yet. Brady. Far side of the field, incomplete. Welker was on that side. Once again, back to New York. James Brown, boomer-sizing.
Cutler, Forte.
Well, Matt Forte lined up as a wide receiver down here at the bottom. Perfect slant route. Goes in for the touchdown. This play was reviewed. It was ruled not a touchdown. Lovie Smith asked for the replay. It was overturned. Touchdown. Bears take the lead 14-10.
Greg and Dan.
All right, guys, thank you. Boy, Jay Cutler has an arm, doesn't he?
It's a monster of an arm. The crowd's getting into it here. They're making a little noise.
On 2nd and 16, as you will see Danny Woodhead, and Woodhead dragged down at about the 7, maybe the 7.5-yard line. Koamisi making the tackle.
Well, you got to give credit to this Miami defense. They are playing hard. You know, they were initially, the Patriots got off to such a good start. It could have gone sideways in a hurry, and they're not yielding at all on the line of scrimmage. There'll be a lot of energy, I would think, on the Dolphins offensively if their defense can hold here and force a punt.
4:45 to play in the 3rd quarter. Play clock is down to 3. Just got the snap off, the quick pass to Woodhead, and Woodhead is going to get tackled at about the 12.
Well, Joe Philbin was right. His decision to go ahead and punt it has worked out. His defense did their job. The special teams did their job, pinning the Patriots inside the 5-yard line for the 2nd time already today. Now if they can just keep from running into Zoltan Mesko.
Mesko will kick it away to Marcus Thigpen. On the run and tripped up just as he crossed midfield at the 49-yard line by Matthew Slater. It'll be Tannehill and the Miami offense starting in New England territory after this. Wednesday in prime time, James Brown, Chris Collinsworth, Phil Simms showcase America's favorite game with their own unique style inside the NFL Wednesday on Showtime. It has been a very defensive 3rd quarter as you look at Matthew Slater.
He might be the best special teams player in the NFL right now. Their captain, of course, son of the great Hall of Famer Jackie Slater. How can a big guy like Jackie, he's got a wide receiver for his son.
Tannehill on the move again, looking, and throws, and that's through the arms of his intended receiver on the near side of the field, Devon Bess.
Well, again, we've talked and documented this. Ryan Tannehill on the move. He delivers a pretty good pass here, considering he can't step into it. Okay, you see Bess. He's picked up Bess. Bess is working towards the sidelines, trying to get open. Tannehill just leads him with it, and they just inches away from the completion.
On 2nd down, Bush nowhere to go, wrapped up back at his own 47-yard line.
Steve Gregory, the safety, was clear back in the secondary, and then Ninkovich finishes it off. This is Steve Gregory right up here at the top of the screen, and watch him just right in off the corner, and talk about nowhere to go for Reggie Bush. He's been a nice addition coming over from the Chargers this year. But, you know, this New England team used to have trouble finding anybody to play in the secondary. Now they've got some good depth.
Tannehill going to go deep. Down the near sideline, incomplete, out of bounds. Hartline covered by Aqib Talib. Dan, you and I were just talking about the glaring weakness of this Miami offense is that they really don't have anyone to stretch the field.
You know, you can use your own terms, stretch the field, climb on top of the defense, go vertical, whatever you want to say. You're
long,
exactly. Yeah,
go long.
Yeah, go long or blow the top off the defense. We've got 5 good ones so far, none of which the Dolphins can do.
Edelman inside 10. Brandon Fields has done a terrific job of pinning the Patriots deep today. And Edelman will let this one bounce, and this one goes into the end zone before any of the Dolphins can get to it. Hey, get coverage of every game while on the go this holiday season with NFL Mobile. Watch every touchdown from Sunday afternoon games with NFL Red Zone for $5 a month. Call ** NFL to download or go to NFL.com/mobile. 2:52 remaining in the third. Patriots have not exactly had an offensive fiesta in third quarter here.
No, and again, as all day long, they struggled to get the running game going. They got 34 total running yards so far today. Ridley not even averaging 3 yards a carry.
This is Shane Vereen. Vereen steps back inside a block and moves it out close to the 25.
Now this Miami defense, you know, they're good against the run. I mean, this is not the only game that their opponents have struggled to run the football.
Brady, lots of time, throws this side of the field incomplete. Welker targeted again.
And Jimmy Wilson was all over Wes Welker. And even though Tom Brady had all sorts of time in the pocket, he could not find anybody open.
Dan, to go back to what you mentioned, this Miami team comes in giving up less than 97 rushing yards a game.
There's a lot of teams in this league that would die to have a number like that.
3rd and 6. Throwing, that's complete, and that's a first down. Aaron Hernandez across the 30 to about the 32. You can only hold him down for so long.
Well, especially if you're not going to get Tom Brady off the spot. I mean, look at the time he has to stand there. He's able to put his feet into it. And again, Hernandez coming on a crossing pattern.
This is Woodhead, and Woodhead breaking through on the left side. Out to the 45 and another first down.
Well, at least now the Patriots are making a commitment. Josh McDaniels and Tom Brady are making a commitment to running the football. And even though they haven't had a lot of success with it, they're not going away from it.
Woodhead again. And by the way, Tom Brady is standing by because another chapter in his fatherhood is imminent.
Imminent is right. His wife Giselle is on the verge of delivering another baby. They're not sure if it's a boy or a girl, but it's going to happen soon. He said, "My phone is with me all the time."
Welker going for the first down marker, and he has it. Out of bounds just inside the 45-yard line, and Wes Welker continues to tack it on, approaching 100 yards receiving. That's his 11th catch of the day.
And again, they are wearing Welker out. I think 16 in the game is his personal best. And that's certainly within reach. Oh, look at that nice effort there by Vereen.
Chris Clemens finally putting the clamps on number 34. And we have down on the ground number 98, Jared Odrick.
Their number 1 pick back in 2010. Yeah, there's some good news.
So Odrick up and will walk off the field. And we'll see who takes his spot out there as Brady looks at a 2nd and 7. This has been a New England drive punctuated by the ground game.
Sean Smith there at the top of the screen with Brandon Lloyd.
Tony McDaniel is the one who has taken Odrick's spot at defensive end. And Ron Winter conversing.
Not sure if there's a timing issue or if they've got the ball spotted correctly.
Please reset the game clock to 42 seconds.
Well, not that it's a little windy out.
Yeah, that's a pretty good indication of how the wind is picked up. It's actually seems to be blowing harder now than any time it has all day.
So we put the game clock at 42 seconds to play here in the third quarter.
Those streamers on top of the goalpost can be very confusing sometimes. Now they'll tell you how it's really blowing up there at the top of the stadium, and inside pretty much guaranteed of a swirl.
Now I don't know what the delay is. Okay, here we go. 42 seconds on the clock.
That's one way to slow down the Patriots' up-tempo offense. More than a few people have made it down from the Northeast, or else they're already living here and
just wore their jerseys.
Yeah, just wore their jerseys.
Brady with a 2nd and 7.
Huge fan base for the Patriots.
Quick pass, complete to the 35, Hernandez.
Carlos Dansby again with the coverage. He's been very busy.
That's 6 catches for Hernandez on the day, and Brady is going to let the clock run down here in the third quarter. So the fourth quarter will begin with the same score that we began the third quarter. At the end of 3, it's 17-10. Patriots back to Miami after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 47. With our producer Mark Wolf, our director Bob Fishman, and our terrific CBS Sports crew here in Miami, Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf. We start the fourth quarter. 3rd and 1 for Brady and the Patriots at the Miami 35. Play fake. The pass. Hernandez. 10, 5. Penalty marker thrown at about the 4-yard line.
I don't know if Chris Clemens grabbed a face mask while he was flailing away there trying to get Aaron Hernandez out of bounds or to the ground. Beautifully designed play, though. That was slick.
Personal foul. Grasping the face mask. Defense number 30. Penalized half the distance to the goal. First down.
Chris Clemens doing anything he could possibly do. Look at this beautiful play fake. Everyone from the Miami Dolphins sucked up towards the line of scrimmage. And Aaron Hernandez snuck by. And a good spot by the official, because there with the left hand, Clemens all over the face mask of Hernandez. And he's got it, and he won't let go.
So the Patriots with a 1st and goal from the 2. Brady fake to Ridley and hit from behind and down at about the 8-yard line by Rashad Jones.
Well, when they drew this play up, they didn't anticipate Miami coming with a blitz off the edge. And here comes Jones from the backside. And he just gets around Donald Thomas. And Aaron Hernandez, I think, was going to be the primary receiver, but you can see as he went to push off his left foot, it slipped, and he just fell flat on his face.
So now it's 1st and goal from the 7.
Well, again, Tom Brady in the pocket's got time. Wes Welker going through traffic, and you just do not see that very often. Tom Brady delivers a perfect pass to Wes Welker. He ends up going down afterwards, but he did his job. Wes Welker rarely puts that ball on the ground.
3rd and goal. Going down again. That's Koamisi in the backfield.
Well, Tom Brady trying to find somewhere to go with the football, and he just can't. Koamisi working against Nate Solder, goes all the way around. And I can't believe that Edelman and Hernandez are supposed to be that close to one another where they run into each other. And look at that perfect bracket on Wes Welker. Koamisi ran all the way around Tom Brady and came in from the other side.
32-yard field goal attempt by Gostkowski is good. A little moral victory there for the Dolphins from a 1st and goal at the 2. They surrender only a field goal. 10-point game. 13-16 to play in the 4th quarter. First time in 9 red zone trips. Their last 9 red zone trips of the Patriots did not get a touchdown. Marcus Thigpen back. And will not get a chance. Will he return this one? No, he won't. So this will come out to the 20-yard line. Hey, nobody knows the game like a quarterback. Break down all the NFL action on Monday, NFL Monday QB, tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Quarterback picture on the day. Tom Brady sacked 4 times today. He's been sacked once in his previous 4 games. Now Tannehill, first down from his own 20. Bush, running room. And out close to the 35-yard line, tripped up by Alfonso Dinner.
Boy, nice hole off left guard. You don't often see a running back get through there as cleanly as this. Take a look at this. Incognito pulls with a little trap block. Nate Garner got a good block inside. And then it's just that little cut to the backside, and out the back door goes Reggie Bush.
Set it down. Tannehill running out of time, and he goes down back at the 32. Trevor Scott.
Again, Trevor Scott filling in because Chandler Jones isn't able to play. Here's Scott standing right down here at the bottom. And again, just it's good pass protection initially, but nobody open downfield. And Ryan Tannehill, by the time he makes a decision to go, he's caught.
And Scott working against Jonathan Martin, filling in on the left side for Jake Long, 2nd and 11. Tannehill going to lock this one. He has a wide open receiver, and it's incomplete.
Well, Kyle Arrington, number 24, is celebrating, but he got lucky. He got lucky because that pass was so severely underthrown. Look how open Hartline is. And that was, if that ball would have been more downfield, Arrington wouldn't have been anywhere near that thing. It still hits Hartline in the midsection, although a lot of traffic there right in front of it.
3rd and 11. Over the middle this time, he's got his man across midfield to the 45-yard line, and that's Hartline for a first down.
Well, he comes right back to Brian Hartline. And again, this is just a simple deep in pattern and a good strike from Tannehill. He's on him all the way. Look at that tight spiral. There's been a couple overthrows by Tannehill and an underthrow occasionally. That one was spot on.
Go! Tannehill throwing, incomplete at the 30-yard line. Here comes the flag intended for Hartline, and Aqib Talib was defending.
And Talib's going to draw the flag.
Pass interference. Defense number 31. Penalizing the spot of the foul and a first down.
There they are, locked up together, man coverage all the way. Talib actually, you can see there, actually had a grab, and Hartline gets up, pleading the case right off the bat and gets the flag.
48! Go! Bush. Dan, you've made the point numerous times how amazing it is for a running back the size of Reggie Bush to consistently take the ball between the tackles and to do it well.
Well, most guys in this league that are going to be, tough yard guys between the tackles are normally at the lightest 220. And Reggie Bush is, barely over 200 pounds. He might be 201, 202, somewhere in that ballpark. So you're right, he doesn't have the build for a real slammer in there.
This is Bush. And he's going to get run out of bounds at about the 25 or 26-yard line. Trevor Scott giving chase, and Dennard coming up from the secondary. Trevor Scott's played himself a pretty good football game.
Well, as a typical Patriots effort, guys whose number, when it gets called, they seem to answer and to play pretty well. And again, two defensive linemen missing. Chandler Jones with the bad ankle, the second game he's out, and Jermaine Cunningham, he's been suspended. This is the first of a 4-game league suspension.
On 3rd and 5, Tannehill eluding trouble for the moment, looking for the first down, diving for it, and he appears to be, let's see, right at that marker. Let's see where they spot it.
And that is selling out. If
Looks like it'll be 4th down.
You're a quarterback and you're going for it. That's how you do it. And he takes a big hit from Arrington.
Ron Winter's first call was that it's just short of a 4th down, and let's see what Joe Philbin is thinking now. We'll do the official measurement, and it's that short. Coach Joe, what are you doing?
Well, I think he's got to go for it.
He's sending the offense back out onto the field. He will.
I don't think there's any question in this situation. 4th quarter, you're down 10. The wind's kind of tricky at this end of the field.
Miami 3 out of 5 on 4th down conversions of 2 yards or less.
Tannehill took a big shot, and Arrington right there on the shoulder and the head. He looked that's, you're a running back. You're no different than anybody else. You may have started with the protection of a quarterback, but when you're running with the ball, that's all you are, is just another guy.
Daniel Thomas is the deep back behind Tannehill. He gets the handoff. He has the first down and then some. Inside the 15 to about the 13-yard line.
Well, Joe Philbin's offensive line rewarded his confidence in them with some really good block. Look at Richie Incognito. Jonathan Martin, the rookie at left tackle. Good drive blocks at the line of scrimmage. I mean, they just blew New England off the ball in that scenario. That situation.
Bush back into the backfield. Tannehill sets up the screen this side. Play inside the 10. He almost broke free. Tripped up by Gerard Mayo.
I think we all know what Tom Brady would like to be doing right now. That'd be out on the field. But Ryan Tannehill You know, I'll tell you, when a quarterback takes off with a football and sells out like that going for a first down, as long as he doesn't get hurt, the other 10 guys in that huddle are fired up. When they see the guy who can be a prima donna lay out like that, it gets everybody's juices moving.
2nd and 4. Tannehill throwing back to the end zone, caught but out of bounds. Hartline made the diving catch, couldn't keep his feet in bounds.
Great effort by Brian Hartline. But this is no way that he's able to come down with this football and stay in bounds. It's just not physically possible. Where he has to lay out like that and leave the ground, he'd have to be about 9.5 feet tall to have done that.
4 yards for a first down. Tannehill goes down.
Gerard Mayo, what a perfectly timed blitz. What a perfectly timed blitz by the leading tackler for the New England Patriots. Hasn't had a real busy day coming in off your left side. You see how he delayed? He delayed just long enough to get Daniel Thomas, number 33, to go out and help on the defensive end. And then when he realized Thomas was committing to helping chip block, he had a clean alley right to the quarterback.
Carpenter now from 33 yards out. And it is perfect. We dip just under 8.5 minutes to play in the fourth. Miami creeps closer. It's a touchdown difference, 20-13 New England. Julian Edelman has left the field with a foot injury, we are told, by the Patriots. Devin McCourty and Matt Slater are deep for the kick. This one to McCourty's side of the field, and that'll be a touchback. So, they'll start from the 20-yard line. The Miami Dolphins entertaining thoughts of an upset. They're down by just a touchdown, 20-13. The numbers tell the story that Dolphins have ratcheted up their defense here in the second half on Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Well, sacked 4 times today. Keep in mind, coming into this game, he'd only been sacked 15 times all year, second best in the league.
This is Ridley. And Ridley stood up at about the 23-yard line.
Well, he's having a tough time, as he has all game, getting to the edge. There's Bill with his defense over there. And doing the old defensive coordinator is coming out right now.
4 down, 50.
Ever stop coaching.
8 minutes to play here in the fourth. Blitz. The pass over the middle is complete, and that's a first down across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Hernandez, yet another catch.
You know, it's really unfortunate that Rob Gronkowski broke his forearm and went out, but how much in the old good news category is it for the Patriots that Aaron Hernandez comes back for the first game that Gronkowski is gone, which was the Thanksgiving night game. So now he's in his second week back. And that just, how fortunate for New England that they didn't have to play without both of them.
Ridley breaking free out to about the 38. Let's get an update from JB and Boomer in New York. Guys.
Hey, Greg, Boomer needs room on this one. Well, listen, Colin Kaepernick did something that I never really ever attempted to do, and that's a little pitch on an option. Janoris Jenkins picks up this ball, touchdown, 2-point conversion is good. Rams, 49ers are tied. Remember Jenkins last week, 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns for the Rams as well. Back to Greg and Dan.
Well, the Rams and the 49ers tied. That has a certain sound to it that we've heard before, considering they played to a tie the first time they played.
On 2nd and 2, Ridley for the first down.
Nice blocking up front. Good job there by New England, the guys up front. That was a nice crease off right guard.
And New England had 10 rushing yards in the first half. They have 66 so far here in the second. We're talking to Vince about whether or not he gets enough rest on the sideline because this offense is capable of coming out and putting points on the board quickly.
Yeah, but when they do a 3 and out, it can be astonishingly quick as well.
Ridley again.
They're starting to find some. They're starting to find some holes here. This is as good as the New England running game has looked all day.
No hurry-up offense on Brady's part.
Well, and this is what really good football teams strive to do and do when an opportunity occurs, and that's milk the clock, possess the football, hold on to your lead, try to pad it, but don't give the other team the ball.
58 to Mike. Alpha. Go.
Brady throws far side. Welker again out of bounds, but not before he gets a first down at about the 41-yard line. I want to remind you, coming up, time permitting after the game, the NFL Today update presented by Farmers Insurance. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher will have all the scores and highlights for you.
Well, Wes Welker goes over 100 yards with that. He's got a dozen receptions. Check it out. How about that? 16th career game with 10-plus receptions.
Here's Ridley. And now the Patriots making a statement on the ground.
Yeah. You know, we looked at those receptions by Welker. Keep in mind, it's not just making the catch. It's taking all those hits that come with making all those catches. Look at the good block out front by McDonald. I mean, look at that hole. Ryan Wendell, the center, with a good block. All of a sudden, Josh McDaniels' group is carving some big holes in this Miami defense that haven't been there all day.
Chewing up some valuable time in the process, too.
Talk about time.
Ridley changing direction, diving forward to about the 28-yard line. And we get a timeout called here, I believe by Miami it is, as they use their first timeout to stop the clock with 4:15 to play. Remind you, doubleheader action coming your way. Here on CBS, the Pittsburgh Steelers in Baltimore against the Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals against the San Diego Chargers, Cleveland on the road out in Oakland. Check your local listings for the game in your area.
And looks like Charlie Batch will be quarterbacking the Steelers against Baltimore. And I think this Miami timeout by Joe Philbin, there's some clock management involved in it, but I think his defense was a little bit on their heels and a little gassed. And I think this was as much to give his guys a blow and trying to slow down the momentum New England had developed on this drive to this point.
2nd and 8. Ridley gets a breather. Vereen is on the field and spread to the bottom of your screen.
Is Brandon Lloyd going to go this whole game without a catch? No, he's right. They went to him. That is the first time today that they've thrown to Brandon Lloyd. Does he fulfill all the requirements of a catch? It certainly looks like it from a feet standpoint. It looked like that elbow came down in bounds. Or did it?
Ridley. And Ridley is wrapped up just inside the 20-yard line at about the 18. And another timeout called for by Miami. That stops the clock with 4:02 to play.
Well, certainly with Miami, they're trying to just, when they get the football back, to have some manageable amount of time on the clock. It's taking his time now rather than when his offense is going to get the football. Unfortunately for Joe Philbin is that the Patriots are already inside Gostkowski field goal range, which would make this a two-possession game if he were able to convert, and if they force the field goal instead of giving up a touchdown.
And they don't exactly have the offense to open it up when they have to begin with.
Well, no, they're not the lightning strike kind of offense. But right now, it's just a question of they've got to get this offense off the field. They got to get New England off the field.
There's the silver bullet.
Yeah. Now this is a situation where this was almost always a passing down from New England, and now it's a running down. They're comfortable running in this situation.
Marine twisting his way to the 10 and about a yard short of a first down.
We just had this discussion with Tom Brady yesterday, talking about one of the big differences is we were just automatically at 2nd and 10 a passing team, and now we've got enough confidence in our running game that we're not afraid to do exactly this. And look at that hole. And Shane Vereen is a guy that can make people miss. Ridley is more the power guy, but Vereen he's a guy that's got some innate quips.
And Miami has used its third and final timeout to stop the clock with 3:57 to play. Brady on the day, 24 out of 40 for 238 yards, a touchdown and an interception. But he hasn't exactly been padding those stats late here in the fourth quarter.
Well, this has been a very impressive drive by New England. When they really needed it, when Miami, it's there for the taking at least to get a tie going here. This has been a most impressive drive. This is a 12th play.
A 70-yard drive, and here's Ridley, left side, and diving and has the first down at the 8.
This is a drive that really good teams are able to execute. On the road, a division game, you got to possess the football, put some points on the board, which they haven't done yet, but grind out the clock. You force the other team to use all their timeouts. This has been, to this point, a perfect, and I mean perfect drive by New England.
Four down.
So first and goal now at the 8-yard line.
And the clock still running.
Ridley to the 5. And by the time they snap the ball again, they will be down around the 240, 235 mark.
I don't think Tom Brady is interested in snapping the football until they're inside the 5-second mark of the play clock. He'll milk every second out of this he can. As long as that clock's running, it's in their favor.
Ridley, 64 to 68 rushing yards today here in the second half, and looking for more here. To about the 2. And that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning.
Again, this is in a day where running the football was so hard to come by. The New England Patriots stuck with it in the second half. They had, 10 yards rushing in the first half? And now they're up to 110 for the game. So, yeah.
This has been a drive that's taken a bunch of time off the clock when it mattered most. 20 to 13, 2 minutes to play.
Okay.
You take it, Dan.
Those are creative. I got to give it up. Those are good.
Third and goal for the Patriots. Brady lost the handle. And covered.
Almost a big mistake. Oh, well, Tom's going to the ground on his own. From our position here in the broadcast, it looked like he lost the football.
And it looked like he was diving on a loose ball.
Oh, well, he just went down on his own because he can just, they're going to let the clock run down, and then they're just going to kick their field goal and make it a 2-score game. That deceived all of us because from up here in the press box, it looked like the ball came out. He's just sitting it in the middle for his field goal kicker.
So Tom isn't quite as loose-fingered as we thought he was. So onto the field comes Gostkowski in the field goal unit.
And then a 10-point lead. You don't need me to tell you that that's a 2 scores in a minute is a little hard to do.
Gostkowski missed one from long range at 49. Those of you just joining us, Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, here in Miami, where the Dolphins have played the Patriots tough, but not quite tough enough.
Well, this 15-play drive by New England, just the backbreaker. If this is good.
Gostkowski is good. And with a minute 10 to play in the fourth quarter, New England extends its lead to 10, 23-13. The New England Patriots 70 seconds away from becoming the first team in the NFL to clinch their divisional title this year. They can do that with a victory over the Miami Dolphins. Baltimore will be looking to do the same today, as will Denver. It will be the Patriots' 9th AFC East title in their last 10 years and their 4th straight. That's Marcus Thigpen deep. And this one will not be returned to sails over the end zone.
For those of you that just joined us, a little taste of what happened earlier here. Stephen Ridley with a great second effort bounces off and into the end zone to give New England the lead. Then a little slip screen to Wes Welker. He walks right into the end zone. And watch this play by Ryan Tannehill. The rookie goes airborne. And then after just a sensational drive by the Patriots, ended up being 16 plays, 12 of which were running plays. They ended up with that field goal that just broke Miami's back.
And taking 7 minutes and 17 seconds off the clock in the process. Tannehill and the Dolphins out of timeouts. And that pass is complete across the 40, out the 45 to 48-yard line to Rashard Matthews, the rookie out of Nevada.
Now it's a touchdown and a field goal, obviously, from tying it up. So the Patriots can't go to sleep here.
And Tannehill spikes the ball and stops the clock with 48 seconds to play on first down.
Having 0 timeouts is a major issue for the Dolphins. Yeah, that's the other thing. They chewed up over 7 minutes of clock time, but they also chewed up all 3 of Miami's timeouts on that drive. That's when you factor that into it. It was just superior football.
Games coming up next here on CBS. 2nd and 10. Tannehill steps up, looking deep, and wide open on the far side of the field, and the catch is made by Hartline.
All right, now you got to say to yourself, what the heck are the guys doing back in the secondary for the Patriots that Brian Hartline could get that wide open? I know you're playing a soft shell, but wow, you can't be uncontested.
Into the lineup comes Marlon Moore, third-year wide receiver from Fresno State.
You just got to keep the Dolphins players in the field of play so the clock runs.
Tannehill going down the sideline. That's no good. Hartline covered on the far side of the field by Aqib Talib.
Well,
36 seconds to play.
The Patriots have finally figured it out that the Dolphins are looking to the sidelines. And they're defending the sidelines. Anything to the middle of the field by the time the Dolphins can run up there and spike the ball. They're going to try their field goal now.
Right, take it now and then onside kick it. So Carpenter from 42 yards. And he's got it. So New England lead is now 23-16.
Well, you need your 2 scores, so get one of them out of the way. Right down the middle by Carpenter. Patriots made that a little too easy, giving up those 2 big chunks.
So now it's special teams time.
And again, here comes the different varieties of onside kicks.
Of which there must be at least 20.
Well, there's a bunch. The one where you try to kick it right at somebody and bounce it off of them. You
Top it and
drive it down into the ground and get the big one-hopper. You can try to do the little soft pooch over the top of the front line and hope that you can get to it before they're able to get back to it.
Well, the Patriots have, everybody up front.
It's got to go 10 yards. And again, you can't overload one side of the football the way you used to in the interest of player safety. You got to balance things out.
And Bill Belichick going to call a timeout here.
They've got both their kickers out on the field. Darren Rizzi wants to come on over and talk to both his guys. I don't know that I've seen it recently where both the punter and the kicker were out on the field at the same time.
Gives you something to think about, huh?
Yeah. I guess the feeling is you could you don't know which one of them is going to attempt.
Fields, number 2, the punter. Carpenter, number 5, the place kicker.
Yeah, see, one's on either side of the football, so New England is unsure which one of them is actually going to touch it off.
Ball has to travel 10 yards.
Oh, those little rascals.
Chip and grabbed by Brandon Lloyd.
Well, Brandon Lloyd, the second time touching the football in this game, was a big one. As he cleanly handles that onside kick. And it just came directly to him. And they've got some pretty good hands on that side of the field between Lloyd and Wes Welker. Got to give Darren Rizzi some creativity credit there.
Hey, give some credit to these Miami Dolphins. This is a New England team that scored 49, 59, 37, and 45 in their last 4 games.
Well, it's like we saw last week, Greg, with Denver. A good defensive effort, but offensively, you didn't score enough to get it done.
Bill Belichick, win number 201 of his career to tie Dan Reeves for number 7 all time.
And more importantly,
it didn't come easy.
To Bill, they're in the playoffs and division champion, because that's where all start. Win your division.
Once again, our final score, New England 23 and Miami 16. Coming up next, doubleheader action here on CBS. For Dan Deardorff, Greg Gumbel. So long from